Charlotte Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for a little Hometown Heroes presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. First up on the lineup, little Huset Midgets presented by A&J Custom Creations. As always, I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, ready to bring you the 3-part show. Sorry about the little bit of a delay. You hear me talk all the time. You hear me at the end of the night. I always thank Roger Craig. And Patrick Spangler is mentioned at least once a week. And for nights like this, I couldn't get the code to work to come up live on Coast to Coast. If you look at my page, I promise you I was up way before 7. Well, not way before, but, trying to get the intro videos rolling. And couldn't get it to roll, and as always, Patrick Spangler just coming through in the clutch. Unbelievable what the guy does. Comes through for all of us. And now we get to watch a little qualifying. Here's the 217, the gentleman, Jack Hit. What kind of time can he put down? Comes across here, ready to take lap number 1. Jack Hit. Gonna run that middle top right now. Be anxious to see if we get a bottom dominant, or if you're going to want a mixture here as we roll throughout the night. But right now, Jack Hit is your quick time. Terry Landis, P2 right now. Let's see what the Desert Demon can do here. Final time coming out of 4. The General Andy Patton, he moves up to P4, but Blake Chapman The salesman, no surprise, driving his way to the top. Does he get quicker the second time around? It sure looks like it, and he does. A 12.61 for Blake Chapman. It's saying a 12.70 for you guys. I am not too sure why, but you can see there when we best time 12.60. Or 12.61, excuse me. Terry Landis, P2. Jack hit third. And Jeff Barker, fourth. Right now, 8 guys qualified, and that means if we do have 2 heats, which I wouldn't be surprised, I think we will, because Kelly Wheeler's registered, just hasn't made a qualifying effort yet. Not too sure if he will or not. But that means Bixler and Patton will get those lucky invert spots, so Andy Patton may have just found himself on the pole here for heat race number 1. As you see, it's a white circle up there beside Huset's. That means qualifying has come to an end. And we're going to get ready here for only 1 heat race, actually. Okay, so I was wrong. Kelly Wheeler rounding out the field inside of row number 5 in the 110. Row number 4 on the top shelf. The Mayor in the 75, Steve Bixler. And it is inside the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. Row number 3 on the outside in the 41. You've got the Librarian, Pat Boyce. And it is inside the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row number 2 on the outside. Your pole winner in the 20. That's the salesman, Blake Chapman, and to his inside, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row number 1 for your one and only heat race. Who's going to win? Who's going to start on the pole for tonight's A&J Custom Creations? USAC Midget Sprints on the outside, the 217 of the Gentleman Jack hit. And to his inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. As the Steve King Foundation pace truck gets ready to pull off, you see the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play in the clay at Huset Speedway. Your heat race is underway. Jack Hit trying to get a run on that outside. Jeff Barker, though, looking strong on the bottom through 1 and 2. And he's got that Jeter machine trying to hook up behind him, get him rolling. But Jack Hit, here he comes on the high side. Tip your cap to the gentleman. As we watch him roll through 3 and 4, there's contact between Terry Landis and I believe Andy Patton involved. Yes, it is those two. Jeff Barker getting around as well. Tough break. 3 cars involved. And now we're 3 wide through 3 and 4. Bob DeGood on the bottom. The Librarian on the top shelf. Steve Bixler trying to roll his way on through. And here comes a battle for the lead. Coming to 2 laps to go. Blake Chapman looking to start on the pole for tonight's A&J Custom Creations feature. And man, he's making it look easy. Started on the outside of row number 2, up here in 5 laps. White flag flies. 1 more trip around for the kid. Whoa, as Shaggy clicks the wrong button a bunch of times. Final time through 3 and 4. Blake Chapman sees the checkered flag fly, and he's going to win heat race number 1, followed by Jack Hit, Pat Boyce, Steve Bixler, Bob DeGood, Andy Patton, Terry Landis coming across, Jeff Barker coming across, and Kelly Wheeler never made the call. We're going to run a quick video here but we'll be right back with your A&J Custom Creations feature. Stick around. We're back alive on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Warm-ups coming to a close. The General, Andy Patton, Terry Landis, Jack Hitt, Blake Chapman, your top four at the end of warm-ups. Let's take a look here, though. We're not going to have him pop up on the screen here. I'm just going to do the top 8. Kelly Wheeler, he didn't grid for the heat. Not too sure if he's going to grid at all for the feature. Didn't run warm-up, so I would imagine we're looking at 8 cars. And row number 4 on the outside in the 513. That's the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. And to his inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row number 3 on the outside in the 87, the General, Andy Patton. And to his inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row number 2 on the outside in the 75, the Mayor, Steve Bixler. And to his inside, the 41 of the Librarian, Pat Boyce. Row number 1, starting on the outside, the 217 of the Gentleman, Jack Hitt. And starting on the pole, kind of per Shaggy's request, if we didn't get a lot of cars, I told Blake he should start at the back of the field, challenge himself. He's registered on that pole, but once we make this thing disappear and hide, you'll see the 20 of Blake Chapman. He's going to be back there in the back in that yellow machine, or in that orange and black machine as I go colorblind for a quick second. So we'll have to see. Let's see here. As I find a good one. Have to see how many laps it takes this man to get up there and contest with those guys for the front. Is this exactly what Jack Hitt needed? You know, you get a little bit of that jump. Maybe he won't look back. I mean, that's what happened last week. Got that big jump, long green flag run, never had a chance to get run down, and Pat Boyce drops the hammer. 25 laps to play on the clay at Huset Speedway. We're underway. The Librarian trying to take the Gentleman to school, but Jack with too good of a run here as he enters the corner. And he takes the lead early as they battle on hard in the back. Steve Bixler looking to the outside, tries to get a run on Bob DeGood. And Blake Chapman, I think he maybe made a little bit of contact with either Jeff Barker or Andy Patton end over end. No caution flag. Unbelievable. No admin caution either. And just like that, there we go. There's the caution. And I think it actually 2 different incidents here. So let's see. Terrible view. Yeah, so Bixler goes up, gets into the wall a little bit, comes down, gets into Blake. And that's the other caution. But how did this one start? We've got to switch out of this camera again. So Andy bounces off the wall a little bit and comes down right as Blake's getting that run and coming up. So nowhere for Jeff Barker to go. And look at this. End over end over end. No caution warranted, though, apparently. And now Jeff Barker. His night in the USAC Midgets ended way before it ever got started. Tough break for the 513. As we roll around, we'll see those lights do dip off, I believe. Whenever the camera decides to do a little rotation for us here. There we go. Lights are off on the pace truck. And the Gentleman lines them up double file here, ready to get back going. Blake has gotten up to 5th so far after saw a couple drivers go around, but he was involved with a little bit of contact with the 75. So how is that car running? But the lights are actually, they're back on. The pace car maybe gonna allow Jeff enough time to fix that hot rod. I think that was the case. Cool deal. And Barker, I believe, should still be on the same lap as the rest of the field. His lights are off this time. Jeff's able to get to the back of the field, tighten up. Here he rolls in. We roll through 3 and 4, and the gentleman gets ready to drop the hammer. 22 laps left to play here at Huset Speedway. We're back underway. Good jump for the gentleman there. Bob the Good trying to capitalize on a good restart, but so is Terry Landis. Look at that Jeter machine rolling the high side. Oh man, the professional roller. You know, we know he knows how to roll. But rolling the high side's a completely other thing. And Terry Landis right now, ooh, man, him and Bob the Good almost make a little bit of contact. And Blake Chapman looking to find a way on through. He puts it in the middle, 3 wide. He's got Andy Patton to the bottom. Bob the Good on the top shelf as Blake tries to work his magic. Jack Hitt just looking to pull away from the rest of the field as the battles rage on behind. Blake is able to secure the pass for 4th as he watches his teammate Terry Landis go to work on the Librarian. Pat jumped the cushion in 1 and 2. Just driving it in a little deep, floating up a little high in the center. You know, he wants that run off. He definitely enjoys it. That's what he's up there for, but you don't want to drive in so deep that you can't grip up in the center. A lot of guys want to crack that throttle to regain the grip, and some other guys just roll in there a little bit too deep, and you can see him pay for it in the middle of the corner. Now Pat starting to calm back down in that 41, giving Blake a run for his money here, coming back on that top shelf, and the Librarian was firmly holding himself in 3rd, and then overdrives 1. Drives in a little deep again at 3 and 4 and allows Blake to slide up and shut the door. And now Jack Hitt. Is he far enough out front, or is the 217 going to have some company? You see, that's what it looks like behind the 217. Don't get a very good view there in the corner. But Terry Landis, man, he is closing in that 161. And Blake Chapman, you know, he's reeling him in too, but sure going to be a little more patient than he normally would. I mean, and Blake already is very patient, but that's his teammate up the road. So Blake knows he doesn't need to force this too much. You just want to make sure one of those, or both of them, you know, end up on the podium. But it'd be nice to get one of them on that top step. We'll have to see if Terry's got what it takes. 10 more laps to go for this man out front, Jack Hitt. Bob the Good right now holding on to that final position inside the top 5. Steve Bixler, after that contact with Blake, hasn't really been able to work his way back through. And Jeff Barker, he apparently did get stuck a lap down. Tough break for the Brewerton Beast. Andy Patton trying to rope his way back on up to the lead lap as well. I didn't realize Andy, another one, stuck a lap down. As Jack Hitt watching the battle heat up from behind in that rearview mirror. Terry knows Blake may have a little bit more speed, so you don't want to hold him up too long. But at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice your run. You don't want to mess up a corner entry. Allow the 41 to reel right on that back bumper. Terry doing a good job of giving Blake the preferred lane on the bottom, but not giving him a bunch of room, making him work hard for it. And here coming 4 laps to go. When we come out of 4, Blake gets the pass done, and Jack Hitt, no, he doesn't get the pass done. He clips the apron. It looked like he had him, drove it in a little too low, and the Desert Demon holds on to P2 with 3 laps to go. The gentleman Jack Hitt with a big old smile on the face of that 217. He is liking what he sees. 2 more trips around the Huset Speedway. Blake falling back to 4th here, just looking to hold on. He's got 2 cars behind him, but one of them not for position, Andy Patton. But the other one is Bob the Good, is the gentleman Jack Hitt takes the white flag. 1 more trip around. Final time through 3 and 4. The 217 of Jack Hitt gets it done again. The gentleman beats Terry Landis, and Pat Boyce coming home on the podium. Great run for the librarian. Blake Chapman, P4, Bob DeGood rounds out your top 5. Great run for the 41 of Pat Boyce. Doesn't get many podiums here on Wednesday night. I'm very familiar with him on Tuesdays, but good run for the librarian. I'm sure everybody in their heart deep down in this league is a Pat Boyce fan. It's nice to see Pat getting a good run and finishing up towards the front in that 41. Let's give these guys a minute or two here to catch their breath, and we'll try to get a word in with this salty dog driver in the 41, Pat Boyce. We'll pull him on up here. Hey, Pat, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, Pat, coming into tonight, you're probably hoping to get on the podium. And I'll tell you what, man, after a great run, you put yourself in a good starting spot and you're able to do just that. How you feeling tonight?
I feel pretty good. Changed some settings on the car, and it seemed to work a lot better.
Now, are those? I see you're hanging out with the salesman Blake Chapman. Does he have anything to do with those settings? Is he helping you guys out?
So, yeah, it was Mr. Landis.
Oh, nice. Well, hey, getting him from the Desert Demon, that's about good as gold here. I mean, you see where he finished P2, but
Yep.
Pat, man, you've really been improving in the sprint cars. I've been watching you. Heck, I've been racing with you, getting beat by you. But to see you coming out here and now you're kind of getting the hold of these midgets. I mean, how much fun are these things to drive?
Hey, these things are a lot of fun. I mean, they're a lot of sawing at the wheel, but they're fun.
For a lot of the guys that maybe, haven't figured it out yet, I mean, how heavy are you on the throttle? Are you ever real aggressive with it, or do you try to baby that thing around here?
It's mostly, I don't ever get 100% till I'm like maybe mid straightaway or backstretch.
Yeah, it seems
Other
like...
than that, you feather the gas all you can.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It seems like that's the trick. And Pat, you put on a great run here tonight, hanging out right there behind the salesman, Blake Chapman, enough to, watch when him and Terry battling side by side makes that mistake. And, well, you're able to inherit that podium. Congratulations on a great run, man. Who you want to thank?
I want to thank Coast to Coast for putting it on, Salty Dogs, Young Gun Creations, Shaggy, the broadcast, and all the admins throughout Coast to Coast Racing League for doing it.
Well, yeah, no, for sure. Without them, especially Patrick Spangler, that's why the broadcast was late tonight. Thank God for Patrick Spangler and being able to reset those codes, man. The admins around here are so important. But hey, Pat, man, hopefully this isn't the last time I'm talking to you here tonight. Good luck the rest of the way, man.
Thanks, Shaggy.
That's your third place finish of the 41 of Pat Boyce. And now we're going to bring up a man who, he credits his third place finish too. Terry sharing the wealth, man. Helping Pat figure out some settings adjustments. And, it looks like karma came your way. You're battling hard with your teammate. You force him into a mistake. Talk to us about how fun that battle was, man.
Oh yeah, I saw him. I figured he wouldn't be back there long, and I'm watching a relative, and here he comes. And I knew he was down low. He wouldn't. I don't think he would have tried me out high, but he might have. But I think he would have went low, and he did. And he pinched it a little too hard down low, trying to get that wet, good stuff out there.
Yeah, what was the trick tonight? It seemed like Jack, everybody kind of in their own line. At one point, Blake's way up high. Jack's running the middle. You're running the bottom. It seemed like a good racy track, kind of where you put it where you want to tonight.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what Jack and I were talking about. The track was pretty racy tonight. You could put it wherever you want it, really. I mean, the cushion had a good bite to it, but the middle was pretty fast.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I thought we'd be in line for a train race here. You know, not a lot of cars, but impressively, man, Huset's it showed up once again, and you guys able to battle side by side and have fun. And I know at the end of the day, you got two guys, one in front of you, one behind you, your points race. And I mean, but what are you thinking when you finish second all these weeks in a row and you got either one of those guys finishing in front of you? Is it frustrating at all, or is it just fun as heck to finish on these podiums?
Exactly. This year I'm just going for the podiums, Shaggy, so points don't matter too much.
Well, that's what it's about, man. It seems like the more fun you have, the more podiums you fall on. So congratulations, Terry. Great run tonight, man. Who you want to thank?
Thanks, Shaggy. You, of course, because you put on a heck of a show, and you make Judy laugh, and you're funny as heck sometimes. And then Jeter, of course, and Flatline Racing Bodies, and Kreitzel Track Parts, because when you bend things, there are people to call. And boys back KSR and Blake. That was nice of him to take the EOL too. And then Galen's Homegrown Popcorn, and put the word coat, and the word cart in the code, and you'll get 15% off. And my wife Judy.
Well, heck of a run, Terry, and I got a feeling I'm going to be talking to you again at least one more time tonight. Good luck.
I hope so. Thanks, Shaggy.
And now we're going to bring up the man of the hour here, the gentleman, Jack Hitt. Jack, once again, man, you just that patient first set of turns. You let Pat go out there, get a run on the bottom, and then all of a sudden, man, you just stormed like hell out of 4. And you just didn't look back. I mean, how was the track tonight? I said to Terry, and he mentioned you guys talked about it, but it seemed like it was, you know, kind of, you're in control of where you want to put the car. It seemed like you could almost drive it wherever you wanted tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. Warm-ups, I was running middle, bottom, top, and I mean, maybe a 10th off of wherever I was going, and that's probably just my fault. But a lot of moisture, yeah, so it's fast track.
Yeah, you know, I mean, what are you thinking? Only the one caution. I mean, are you just rooting for this thing to keep rolling when you're out front, or do we want a little bit of a pause to break those arms at all?
No, I mean, I always rooting for a fun race. You know, I love winning, but I was kind of hoping that Terry or Blake, somebody would get up there. But like I said, just a fast track, so it was hard to really make up ground on guys, I'm sure. And Blake was too fast in that heat race, so I sent him to the back of the feature, and that made it a little easier for me.
Yeah, I take a little bit of credit for that too. I went down to the Discord and told him if there's less than 10 guys, he better take an EOL. So a little bit to blame for that, but hey, Jack, congratulations, man! You won last week back to back, man. So tightening up this points battle. Good luck here the rest of the way. Who you want to thank here before we head out?
I got to thank you for, you know, doing the broadcast, everybody in the league, making things go around. Got to thank the guys that come out and join the track with us. Maybe one of these days we'll get back up into the double digits, maybe 20 again. Shout out FTM, Venom, Gambler, all you guys come join us next week. And most importantly, got to thank my wife for giving me time to do it.
Well, hey, thanks for all you do, Jack, admin in this thing and doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Great run, man. You deserve this win. Congrats.
Thanks, Zach.
And that is your winner there of your A&J Custom Creations USAC Midgets, Jack Hitt, bringing home another one. And with that, we're going to step away here and well, we'll be back with a little bit of time to spare. Not allowed to kick off the 360 portion until quarter of. So if you want to go pop that popcorn, go get a drink, you know, go partake in some activities that maybe you need to do outside, now's the time to do that. We're going to step away, take a break. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, and we'll be back with part 2 of 3. Your 360 sprint cars here at the Huset Speedway, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and well, not a lot of cars here this evening for the 360s. Normally not the most for the midgets. Sometimes we've had, close to 20, 18, 19 drivers. This one, we have a B main some of the weeks, and right now 11 drivers. I know one of my favorites, Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr., he is on the do not race list. He got in trouble. We've all been on that list before. I know one of my favorites, like I say, Mr. Wednesday Night, not going to be here. So tough break for Brian Moore Sr. and all those fans out there. But, hey, sometimes it happens. Got to get the hammer dropped on you. No, I'd gotten a message from my little brother saying a kid I went to school with was a high-speed police chase. That's pretty crazy. That's why you do that on here. You don't do that on the street. My dad always told me. That's why I had a race car growing up and could always play on his computer and stuff. It's always a time and place for that. And the road is definitely not it. See drivers rolling around. Oh, Andy Patton's not on the track. Let's ride around with Jeff Barker here. The Brewerton Beast in the 513. Doing a good job right now. Looks really smooth. Car's not fighting him. Not tightening up, not straightening up too early. Maybe do want to cut down a little bit more and straighten out a little in the center. Or else, yeah, you can ride up and kiss the wall like Jeff demonstrated right there. But it's a fine line. It's a balance you're looking for. Oh, Bob DeGood running the Kyle Larson scheme there in his 7. I dig that. Oh, goes it. Yeah, Bob. Oh, be careful, Bob. So we got the librarian Pat Boyce rolling out there. Salty Dog finishing the top 3 in the ANJ Custom Creations midgets, or USAC midgets. I guess you can call them midget sprint cars. I don't know. I always feel weird calling it saying sprint car. Let's see. Oh, wow. Riding off the nose here of the 41. So, see, that's what I mean. Pat's doing a pretty good job of that, actually. You can see he's straightening it up pretty early, and he almost touches the wall in the center of the straightaways. That's what you want to do. Kind of like diamond off. You don't want to be that aggressive getting up in the wall like that. But it's really all about just trying to straighten up the car as soon as you can without losing speed in the center of the corner. And right now, Pat doing an excellent job with it. It is quarter of here, so not too sure how long we'll wait. Maybe we will wait to pick up a couple more guys. Heck, maybe we'll get ready to roll. Not too sure. The Desert Demon Terry Landis, he's finally out on the racetrack. He's going to get a little bit of time here in the 161. Just like that, he's not going to get any more time as the checkered flag waves. Warm-ups come to a close. And we're going to get ready to go into our Flatline Racing Bodies 360 qualifying. See who decides to come out on the racetrack first. Who gets the honors. It's looking like it's going to be... Oh, it was Bob DeGood for a second. But then Andy Patton put the hammer down. Coming out of the pits. He knows the deal. I'll show you where Bob is. See? Bob just fell off a little bit coming out. And Andy Patton rolling the bottom here through 1 and 2. This is his first lap. Gets up there, kisses the wall. No, I don't think this lap's going to count. Neither will this one or the next one, I don't think, for Andy Patton. Because of where he hit the wall. So right now, Jeff Barker, P1 with a 10.88. Andy Patton almost gets into that outside wall. That lap's going to count. You can see he had to lift, and right now Jeff Barker with your quick time. Dean Reynolds came home P4. Let's see what Blake Chapman can do. Got to think he's the favorite for the pole, and by golly, there it goes. That Galen's number 20. Top of the charts here, lap number 1. Doesn't need to improve, and he doesn't. Steve Bixler, P2. Pat Boyce out there, he brings it home 7th. Cale Bixler comes around. He takes over, pin out of 11 guys is the Macho Man, Tyler Wilson. He rips the outside through 4, doesn't improve through Sector 2, but finds enough in Sector 1 that he's going to move on up to P6, and just like that, your top 5 in qualifying: Blake Chapman, Steve Bixler, Jeff Barker, Bob DeGood, and Gary Offit in that 94. Should have 2 heat races here. But I was wrong in the last one, but I would imagine, yeah, okay, 2 heat races. So, row number 3 on the outside in the 161, the Desert Demon Terry Landison lined up to his inside, the 41 of Pat Boyce. Row number 2 on the outside, your pole winner in the 20, Blake Chapman, into his inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row number 1 for heat race number 1, starting on the outside in the 94, Gary Offit, into his inside, the 79 of Dino Dean Reynolds. As we try to make that go away, there we go. And we bring that back up just to see it looking all funky, so we can click the reset button and unfunkify it. Let's roll down the backstretch for the final time here. Steve King Foundation pace car pulls off. And the 79 of Dean Reynolds set to bring us to the green flag. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 is underway. Good jump there for the 79 of Dean Reynolds as the battle rages behind Blake Chapman. He's watching 2 wide. Jeff Barker and Gary Offit to his outside. As Terry Landis, he falls in line just doing what he has to do here. But man, oh man, Gary Offit and Jeff Barker racing hard. Jeff gets pinched down to the inside out of 4, and now he's going to lose that spot to Blake. Blake now going to take a peek here. On the inside of Offit, can't get it done this time. What can he do through 1 and 2? It's a good run on the bottom. They pull even as he enters 3. Coming off of 4, give it to the salesman, Blake Chapman. Does he have enough time to go up here and play with your leader in the 79? As the 41 of Pat Boyce gets into the outside wall. White flag flies, 1 more lap to go. Dino just trying to hold on here. He's got a quick car, but the guy behind him's a little quicker, just running out of time. Dino wins heat race number 1, followed by Blake Chapman, Gary Offit, Jeff Barker, Terry Landis, and Pat Boyce. As we get ready here for heat race number 2. See if we can take a look here at the starting lineup whenever it decides to pop up. There she goes. Starting on the inside of row number 3 in the 87, that's the General Andy Patton. Row number 2 on the outside, the Mayor in the 75, Steven Bixler, into his inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row number 2 on the row number 1 on the outside in the 042, the Macho Man Tyler Wilson, and starting on the pole in the 789, Cale Bixler. So I saw that 042 from the Macho Man, so that just had me thinking too there. Pop-up row number 2. It's good to see the Macho Man out here. Haven't seen Tyler Wilson running as much regularly. And Tyler Wilson, when he is running with us full time, that guy is quick. And well, I imagine, you know what? Actually, I just put 2 and 2 together. And shame on me for not having it up on my cell phone. Don't you dare tune out, though, if you're watching. But I just realized where a lot of these drivers are. It's Dirt National Week down there in Volusia. That's everybody's watching that. Got a couple people there, I think. As heat race number 2, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play in the clay at Huset Speedway. We're underway. Cale Bixler, he floats up a little bit, gets into the side of his pops, Steven, and he goes up and over through the infield. No cautions in the heat race. We continue. Steve Bixler, no damage out of that, but man, he may have to change those pants here before we roll into warm-ups as the Macho Man leads the way early. 042 looking strong. Andy Patton, can the General find a way? They're going up here in battle for P2. He's all over the rear end of the 75, Steve Bixler. He takes a peek through the bottom of 3 and 4. You see Steve just so fast, though, off corner exit up top. And Bixler, one of those guys that really, has improved so much over the years. Just constant track time, and you can see final time through 3 and 4. It's paying off for him. The Macho Man, Tyler Wilson, going to win heat race number 2. And Steve Bixler holds on to P2. Andy Patton 3rd. Bob DeGood 4th. And Cale Bixler rounds out the field. As we take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, we'll be right back with your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprints feature at the Huset Speedway. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, and right around 15 seconds left in warm-ups. Excuse me, a little bit of hiccups. As the general at the top of the charts, Dean Reynolds P2, Blake Chapman 3rd. Gary Offit, Jeff Barker, your top 5 here as we get ready to go. And we'll have 11 cars here come feature time. As we get ready to take a look at our starting lineup. Very, very weird here. Now, we're going to try to do this a different way. There we go. I could not get Pat to show up for the life of me. Had to reset it and go up to the top. Very weird. Haven't had that happen to me. Rounding out the field, starting on the inside of row number 6 in the 41, Pat Boyce. Row number 5, the outside in that 7, 8, 9, Cale Bixler. Into his inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row number 4 on the outside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Into his inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row number 3 to the outside, the 87 of the General Andy Patton. Into his inside, the 94 of Gary Offit. Lined up on the outside of row number 2 in the 75, Steve Bixler. And to his inside, the 20 of the Salesman, Blake Chapman. Row number 1 for your flatline racing bodies. 360 sprint car feature. Starting on the outside in the 042, the Macho Man Tyler Wilson. And starting on the pole, the 79 of Dino Dean Reynolds. As we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps to plan the Clan Huset Speedway. We're underway. The Macho Man trying to rip that top shelf, but Dino comes up and shuts the door after a good run in 1 and 2. Can Dino try to rein in the horses here, control that 79, and take this thing home as the battle rages behind? Jeff Barker trying to look to the inside of the 94 of Gary Offit as they race side by side. The boys do the same behind him. Terry Landis and Blake Chapman, the Salesman. Blake trying to rip that inside, trying to follow Jeff Barker. Little contact in front. Steve Bixler in the outside wall. He goes up and over. Couldn't tell how that originated. I did. We'll say Steve Bixler there involved. I could see it a little bit from out of the picture. So he just bounces off the wall here. Tries to correct it. Just drives it in a little too deep after correcting it. He did a good job of saving it. But then just sends it in a little too deep, up and over for the 75. He's going to have to tow that thing. And now he's just going to hope he can get back out there. Before we go back racing again, tough break for the mayor in the 75. Looks like Dino is going to choose that outside here. Not going back green just yet, but doing the polite thing, picking it early, really cementing where he wants to be. Dino going to take that jump on the outside, use all the traction he can find in that 79, and look to drive off into the sunset here at the Huset Speedway. Down the backstretch for the final time. Lights are off on the Steve King Foundation pace truck. And we've We've got 22, 21 when we take the green flag here. As you see, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Dino drops the hammer with a great restart. We're back underway. Oh, Gary there got a little squirrely. Blake was able to get that run on the top shelf. Now goes right down underneath the 87. And you see that Inferno Motorsports machine trying to contain Blake Chapman. But right now, they let the kid out the bottle, and Blake's trying to climb his way on up. The Macho Man's showing the rust. Gets into the outside wall all by himself. Gives Blake that third and final podium spot, and all of a sudden, Jeff Barker, look at the 513. He's got dreams of leading this thing as he hits the bottom at 3 and 4, clips the apron. That opens the door for the salesman. Blake Chapman, he's not going to think twice. He's going to dive it off in there, and Jeff Barker, he's going to give him enough room, but not a lot of room. Blake sealing that thing downstairs. He moves on up to P2, and Jeff Barker, man, he's got a quick race car. He's just got to put that head back down and get back into rhythm. The 513 got a lot of speed, and I think following this man may help it a little bit. Let's see what Dino can do. Not even halfway home, and the kid's down there knocking. As Blake tries to get that good run off the bottom in 1 and 2, there's still a lot of tack down there. Not so much in 3 and 4. This is where you're going to see the bottom struggle a little bit on exit. But here, Blake, you see all that moisture down there. He just nails it. He guns the throttle, and he pulls side by side with the 79 of Dean Reynolds through 3 and 4. You got to think a couple more laps, and Blake may get this thing. But Dino doing an excellent job of fighting him off on the top shelf. Dino just absolutely beating the piss out of that 79. Hammered down. You see him squirreling coming off of 4, but on rails in the middle of 3 and 4. Man, oh man, Dino, he gets into the outside wall, and Blake Chapman says, sayonara, Dino. That's going to be all she wrote, and I think Dino may know it as well. But who knows? He's got it back in there. It's win it or wear it for the 79. Dino going to rip that top shelf, but Blake's going to go up there and show him some dust. Say, Dino, I can do that too. Dino going right back to the top shelf in 1 and 2, and that's where Blake says, Dean, just follow me through 1 and 2. It's a little quicker down here on the bottom. Dino's going to do just that. He misses a little bit, though. Hits the middle. Not going to get that run off that the 20 gets. But still, Blake's searching. He's trying to find a way. As the caution flag flies, and Bob DeGood with the 7. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here. Contact, as you see, between him and the 94 of Gary Offit, but may have already been in the wall. Let's see. Bob DeGood gets in the wall. No contact between him and the 94. Didn't look like to me. It just he didn't want to get down into Gary, so he turned it up the racetrack and bounces off that opening, and that's where the caution flag comes out for Bob DeGood. But man, oh man, exciting race here for your Flatline Racing Bodies 360s. Dino. Have to see that right front tire may look a little towed. He may be driving a sick puppy out there, but he's doing a good job holding on to P2 for the time being. With it being under 10 to go, will be single file restart, so Dean gonna have to be on it here in that 79 machine. Needs to nail this restart if he wants to have one more shot at going back at the 20 of the salesman, Blake Chapman. Not an easy task. That is for sure. Anybody who watches this thing regularly knows that as you see the Steve King Foundation pace truck pull off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're back underway at the Huset Speedway. Blake with an absolute missile of a restart, and Jeff Barker back there in P3, looking to flirt with the 79 a little bit as he takes a peek down low. This may have just been what the doctor ordered for the 513. Just gets a little breath of fresh air right on the tail tank of P2 in the 79, and here comes the General trying to make it work on the outside. Can the 87 of Andy Patton find a way around? And as Tyler Wilson maybe shook some rust off, here comes that 042 creeping his way into our picture. But Blake Chapman out front all by himself. 1.5 seconds, 2 laps to go. Andy Patton takes a peek to the outside, looking for that third and final podium spot. Jeff Barker giving him all he can. White flag flies, one more trip around. Blake Chapman, final time through 3 and 4. He brings home the checkered flag. Dino, P2, who's going to get third? Andy Patton brings it home at the line. The Macho Man, Tyler Wilson, and Jeff Barker round out the top 5. But Blake Chapman, surprise, surprise, brings home your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprint Car feature. Heck of a run for Andy Patton, up 3 spots, gets the hard charger as well. Great job, Andy. I guarantee you, gonna be happy with that one. Let's go back here. We'll see if we can't get a word or 2 or 3 with our drivers here. The General Andy Patton gets it done in the closing laps. Had to work hard to get around that 513, but was able to do it. You know, working hard makes it that much sweeter. We'll try to get a word here with the General Andy Patton. Andy, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I got you, brother. How are you?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I had a good time up here. I'm exhausted watching you guys battle, so I know you are too, man. But how much fun was that with Jeff?
Dude, that was freaking awesome. For how many laps, man? We were like side by side, right there, you know?
Yeah.
That was freaking excellent.
You know,
Most fun I've had in a long time.
Now, obviously, Andy, you know, you know how to wheel these sprint cars, but are you peeking down at that relative at all? Were you seeing that the 042 was creeping in there too? Man, you three.
Oh my God, no.
You three were under a blanket.
Yeah,
last lap
I
and
could
a
hear
half.
'em.
That was fun, dude.
Yeah, I could hear him, and I saw the reflection in the mirror, but man, I wasn't looking up, not up there on the top like that.
Yeah, you know,
I could get up alongside of Jeff, but I couldn't pass him. You know, until right at the end, I just hung it all out there on the outside and rode down the wall and got there.
Yeah, you know, I
That
mean,
was fun, man.
it's a totally different racetrack than what we saw in the midgets. You know, obviously, same place, but totally different track. And still, it seemed like once again, you know, it was kind of, I mean, the way I like to describe it, Andy, a driver's track. You know, you could almost go anywhere you wanted, but you just had to either baby the throttle or try to gun it down on the outside. I mean, you know, I try to do my job up here and fluff up this track, but Andy, I really do like this place, man. What are your thoughts on the racetrack?
This is my favorite. Has been since it came out. The first time I started running laps here, man, I was just like, I love this place. Yeah, because there's always a line. There's a top and a bottom. You know what I mean? And a lot of times the middle. You know what I mean? And like tonight, I mean, the top was really fast, then the bottom, and then then there's Blake. But you know, he can run anywhere. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But oh my God, it was fun.
It's one of those, it's definitely special about this racetrack. Because, you know, I mean, obviously other tracks, they do have a top and bottom, but it's when do you want to hit it? You know, you need to be there at the right time. And it just seems like this track, you can, depending on how good you are with the throttle, you can hit it anywhere, anytime. And man, you showed that with a big last lap pass. Hell of a run, Andy. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
My team, Inferno, Donald Tulos for DNT. The new paint that I got on his car looks really sharp. You guys, obviously, for the show you put on. Shaggy, you do a great job, dude. You're like a natural for this shit. And C2C for posting my picture. Look at that. There's the 87 again. That's twice this week.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, buddy.
And I got to feel, hey, you're going to run this 410, right? It may not be done yet.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll see. If not, great
I
run
keep
tonight,
myself
Andy.
out of trouble. If I can stop from freaking bouncing it off the outside wall and taking people out, and
Well, you've seen me race enough to know that when you figure that out, please let me know how to not do that for everyone else's sake. But great run tonight, Andy, and I look forward to a lot more of these, man. Great job.
Thanks, buddy. Take care.
That's your P3 finisher, Andy Patton. And now we're going to bring up the man who, Dino, I love you, man. But if not for getting in that wall, dude, you were making him work. You may have had enough to hold on to this thing. What's going through your head right now?
Yeah, I don't know. 1 and 2 just was not good up top. You couldn't get the drive coming off 2, and that's where I went in the wall was 1 and 2 because your apex wasn't good to go in, and I just clobbered that wall and said, darn it, but 3 and 4 I could sail it. 3 and 4 I wasn't even lifting up top, but I got my new computer set up, so now I got a wheel that I can be aggressive up top, and that's why I said to Blake, I go, Blake, I'm going to come for you. One of these days we're going to get enough cars here. It's going to burn off that bottom on you, and I'm going to be up top, and it's going to come back. So that's what I'm hoping. But what a fun race! I mean, Blake's the king here. He's the king on the fixed setups, and then on this track, he's just got that bottom down pat. I tried to follow him a couple times and 1 and 2 on the bottom, and I looked like a fish out of water. And he's just, hey, you got to hand it to him. He's the king, and we'll take second to him, Shaggy. We'll be okay.
No, yeah, and you got to look at it for what it is because after you get into that wall, we're watching you roll. I saw you experiment with trying to follow him in 1 and 2, and really, he didn't dog you that bad, compared to the rest of the field. You had some speed, you were keeping up with him, and I'm sure you got to learn a thing or two. So there's some bright sides out of that. And anytime you can run that close to Blake, that's a good one. But what are you thinking when the caution comes at the end? Are you thinking you got one more shot, or are you worried about the guys behind you?
No, I was focused, but he threw me for a loop by going way down to the bottom. In fact, I said that was a smart move because he got around the corner and then got on the straightaway and he could gas it. I still was in the corner. So I actually had to burp it and then gas it, and that's why he got such a big lead. That was a smart move on him. And then I knew Jeff was behind. I knew he was running the bottom. And 1 and 2, I said, you know what? I'm just going to go down there a couple laps to make sure Jeff's at bay, and then go up to 3 and 4 and let it rip because you saw Blake went up the top in 3 and 4. And then, I noticed in the relative he was starting to fall back. And then all of a sudden I looked at the end and I saw Andy got third. So it must have been a good race back there. But I got a wheel now that I can be aggressive. I mean, that's the whole key now is, my force feedback's not leaving anymore when I do these races. So, I'm going to try to get used to it and keep on getting aggressive, and we'll see if we can get them.
Well, Dino, that was a great run tonight, man. Really made Blake work for that one there till he got by. Heck of a job. Who you want to thank, brother?
Well, first of all, we got to thank you, Shaggy, for doing the telecast. And, I missed you last night. I took another one last night. Me and Kelly Wheeler had a great race, but good to see you back tonight and doing the telecast. So thank you first and foremost. I always got to thank my friends at Full Throttle Motorsports, my teammates. Like I said, I've always said it before, they try to keep this old guy fast. And, they do throw me some tips and everything. And got to thank Gavin Chatham, one of our latest teammates, for all his help in the sprint cars. I've learned a lot from him, so I got to thank him. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies, right? Is that who the sponsor is?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I remember this time. So we got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies because if it wasn't for their help, you wouldn't be here. Congratulations to Blake. Great run, Andy. And then, to go along with my theme, I got to thank Sherry, the wife of Anthony Morano, for allowing him to race. And actually, Sherry had a little spell in the hospital yesterday, but glad she's home and doing better. So, Anthony, we were, all kidding aside, we were thinking of her and we're glad she's okay. And also got to say hi to Kelsey, Isaac Salas's girlfriend. I know she's watching because I'm her favorite driver, not Isaac. So we gotta thank her. And then I got to thank Donald Tuos from DNT Graphics for doing this wrap. He did Andy Patton's wrap as well. Donald's one of the best out there, so he really makes some good cars. So I'm getting better with these speeches. Hopefully, I can do some more podiums so I can lay out some more stuff. But I also got to thank World of Outlaws, Super Dirt Car Series, Dirt Vision. Shaggy, I'm going to Florida Friday morning. I can't wait. And hopefully everyone tunes in Dirt Vision and watches all the action from Volusia.
Well, great run tonight, Dino, and you did an amazing job, but I don't want you to forget the most important one. Somebody that starts with an M. Can you remember?
Starts with an M.
They may be your girlfriend.
Oh, shoot. Hi, Megan. Yeah, actually, she's working right now, so we're good. I didn't send her the link. And actually, I bought dinner. I bought Texas Roadhouse for her and her sister, and she's picking it up right now. So I get one hall pass. I get one hall pass, Shaggy. There she is. She just walked through the door right now. So
and the butter
Shaggy,
and rolls from Texas Roadhouse.
Thank you.
That cinnamon butter is phenomenal, and I hope.
Oh, we got a lot of good stuff from. We got ribs, we got chicken, we got salads. I even bought some buffalo tenders. So we got some good stuff.
All right, well, enjoy, Dino. Great run, man. I love talking to you. Congratulations, bud.
All right, hey, go talk to the winner, will you? He's going to tell you about this Galen's and cart and 15% off and all that good stuff.
Yeah, he might be mad at me too because I'm the one who got him to EOL and the midgets. That didn't turn out so well. So we'll see how this conversation goes.
When he took the EOL and the 360s, I said if you win, you get 2 boxes of Galen. So I guess I gotta fess up.
Oh man, okay, that's good information. Well, great run, Dino.
All right, Shaggy, take care, man.
Now we're gonna bring up the man of the hour, Blake Chapman, who. Blake, I didn't even notice this. Did we really? Did you take the OL here? I gotta cheat and go back.
Yes, I did. Not too many cars out here tonight.
I didn't even notice. Shame on me for not seeing that. Dino just told me he owes you 2 boxes of popcorn.
That's right. That's what he said. He said if I got up there and won it, he owed me some Galens. So, we got that going for us. But, come out here to weekly racing. Sometimes it can get, boring doing the same old stuff. So we had to mix it up a little bit. Took the OL and the midgets. So I figured why not do it again. And it paid off for us a little bit better in this race.
Well, yeah, I'm glad I told Dino I was worried you may be mad at me for putting that idea in your head, but I'm glad you were a sport about it. But obviously, man, differences on the racetrack, a little more guys in here, a lot more laps on the racetrack. Did it make it that much easier for you to try to work through the field? It seemed like, going back in the past a little bit, that midget race, man, it was tough to pass. It seemed like everyone was kind of a little more on an even playing field.
Yeah, the midgets got spread out and there was so much grip that, it was really tough to gain on guys. So, this race, it was a really racy racetrack and it got, pretty slick for there only being 11 cars out here. So we were able to use both lanes to our advantage, the bottom early and then the top came in, late. We were able to utilize that in 3 and 4.
Yeah, we went back here. We're watching you in the middle point of the race, and it's the time you're running around there, 3rd and 4th. You get under Tyler Wilson, and you're watching Jeff Barker, man. What's going through your head? He wasn't nailing it quite as good as you, but boy, until he made that mistake, Blake, he had that thing rolling. You guys were on the move.
He did, I was just going to be patient with it because I saw him, he was catching Dean. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit back here and to follow Jeff, until maybe he gets around Dean, then I can make a move. But, then he slipped up a little bit and we were able to get underneath of him. And, Dean was doing really good too. He was beating me off of 4 really bad. When I was running that bottom, he was up top and then he made a mistake and we were able to capitalize off of that. So, a couple guys made a couple mistakes and, we were able to capitalize off of that.
Yeah, that's where I was going with this next. It seemed like maybe, if you just kept etching away at that stone, you were going to get Dino in time. But when you got around him, was the dream line there, ripping the outside in 3 and 4 and then hugging the bottom in 1 and 2? Was you kind of needed the combo this racetrack tonight?
Yeah, like I said, he was beating me off of 4 really bad. So I knew the momentum up top was just going to be a little too much for me to overcome in 3 and 4. But there was still so much grip left down on the bottom in 1 and 2. I didn't really want to give it up. And like on the last couple laps there, we kind of found the middle line in 1 and 2 that was a little bit quicker than the bottom. But, by that time we had a good enough lead with that restart and everything. So, we had to use both lanes to our advantage tonight. So, made things a little more interesting.
Well, Blake, you got 2 bags of your chosen flavor of popcorn coming in the mail. Congratulations. on working your way up to the front. Another great run, man. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, first I got to thank the family for watching. And of course, I got to thank all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry for running with me tonight. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and 88 AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes. I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You know, they got some of the best stuff out there. You can head over to their website and use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout to get 15% off of your purchase. You know, we'll have to see if we can go double or nothing on that Galen's Gourmet Popcorn bet with Dean. And shout out to Dean for admitting tonight. And of course, I got to thank you for putting this broadcast on, Shaggy.
You know, that's a great idea. You have to see if you can coax him into that. If he agrees to it, try and send me a message there so I can work it in.
Absolutely.
But hey, heck of a run, Blake. Way to make this thing exciting, man. And good luck here winning the 410s as well, brother.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Blake Chapman just continues his absolute dominance here at the Huset Speedway. I mean, Dean talked about it. This is Blake's castle. I mean, or whatever you want to call it, sandbox. You know, we come to hang out, but he's the one who's in charge. He runs the show, and Blake showed us that once again. Putting the pressure on Dino, makes the mistake in 1 and 2. Believe it may be this lap. Nope, it's going to be the next lap, of course. But Blake, you just see the constant pressure there on the bottom, working through 1 and 2. Able to put the heat on Dean, make him slip up on the outside, and just like that, Blake Chapman brings home your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprint Car feature. But if you like that, make sure you stick around. We got the 410s up next. So, you know, you thought these things were quick. We're going to get, what is that? 410, we'll say 50. It sounds like 50 to me. We'll get 50 more horses out, slap it in the car, and we'll go out and play here a little bit more at the Huset Speedway. So stick around. And we'll be right back with your Flatline Racing Bodies 410s.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network with part 3 of your Flatline Racing Body's Hometown Heroes. And last on the docket, as always, the Flatline Racing Body 410s here at the Huset Speedway. Only 9 drivers coming out to play in this one, so not sure if we'll have one heat race or 2. Doesn't look like anybody else is going to make the call here, though. Been paying attention to that other list, trying to see if other people pop in without a time. Right now, it's just Jeff Barker out on the racetrack. Terry Landis pulled out as well. 961, but the Brewerton Beast, well, he's pulling off, actually, in the 513, so we'll go back with Terry and that Jeter's machine. No, we won't. We're going to watch the checkered flag wave as warm-ups come to a close, and we're going to get ready to roll into qualifying here. See who pulls out on the racetrack first for qualifying. Looking like it's going to be... It's a race between Dino and Andy Patton, and Dino's winning the race here. Oh, there's Dino, there's Andy. Just to prove. So Dino's a little bit ahead. Gonna watch him lap number 1 here. The black and gold 79. Is Dino lap number 1. P2 is the general, Andy Patton. Closes the gap. He's running the bottom there in that 87. Let's see what lap number 2 looks like. Andy Patton, does he improve? No, but Jeff Barker, man, he gets awful close, and Bob the Good knocks it out of the park in the 7. He takes quick time as the salesman rolls around and absolutely smashes it. Welcome back to Huset Speedway, and he rolls purple through Sector 1. Does he improve? Yes, he does. 10-0, or 10-7-0-3. That second time around, and Blake Chapman burning the house down here at the Huset Speedway, taking quick time once again. Pole winner in all 3 events this evening. Blake Chapman, Bob the Good, Andy Patton, Jeff Barker, Pat Boyce, your top 5. We'll see here. Like I say, We only had 9 in the midgets. We had 1 heat race, but I've seen that go both ways, so I won't confidently say we're just going to have 1 heat race. But I would think we're going to have just 1. We'll see. Thanks for tuning in here tonight on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. As always, let us know who you're rooting for tonight. As we'll drop it down here. Take a look at the starting lineup. Blackjack John Tobias rounds out the field on the inside of row number 5. Row number 4 on that top shelf in the 161, you've got the Desert Demon Terry Landis, and it is inside the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Row number 3 to the top shelf, the 75 of the Mare, Steve Bixler, and to his inside, his teammate in the 41, Pat Boyce. Row number 2 to the outside in the 20, that's the salesman, Blake Chapman, and lined up right to his inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row number 1 for your one and only heat race here in the 410 Flatline Racing Bodies. On the outside, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton, and lined up on the pole, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. As we go down the backstretch for what I would imagine would be the final time here. Nope, pace truck gonna roll around one more time, so we're gonna do one more lap. But then we'll go around for 6 laps here at the Huset Speedway. There's Jeff Barker. Can he take advantage of that inside front row starting spot, get a good run through 1 and 2, and set the pace? I do believe he can. A lot of moisture left on this racetrack. You can almost put it wherever you want. You just got to be responsible here and not lose the rear end as we roll through 3. Coming out of 4. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play in the clay at Huset Speedway. We had a wheelie there from the 41. I'm not sure if you guys caught that on the top of the screen, but he had her rolling, and the Brewerton Beast, he gets tight on exit. Oh, there's congestion. Bob DeGood has to get on the brakes. He loses a bunch of spots, and just like that, Blake Chapman, the pole sitter, looking to the inside, or the pole winner, excuse me, doesn't start on the pole. They do the top 4 invert, but he's looking to take this thing over as he rolls the bottom through 3 and 4. Blake Chapman setting the tone here in that 20 machine. Whipping the bottom. What's it going to look like at the line? Give it to Andy Patton, but not by a whole lot. Now Blake absolutely loving that moisture in the bottom of 1 and 2. He's looking at the white flag, and he's got one more trip around. Terry Landis back here, P4 all by himself. He's got some damage. He must have gotten the wall. He drives it up in the wall one more time. As Blake Chapman rolls by, he takes the checkered flag. Andy Patton, Steve Bixler. Terry Landis coming back a lap down. He's going to be 5th, believe it or not. Blackjack John Tobias here comes 4th. As boy, oh boy, a lot of mayhem here in your heat. But we're going to take a short break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with your Flatline Racing Bodies 410 feature right after this. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. A little over 15 seconds to go here. Terry Landis smacks the front stretch wall. It was Blake Chapman and Pat Boyce dueling coming out of 4 down the front stretch. And here comes the Brewerton Beast. It's the only 4 guys still on the racetrack here. In warm-ups. As Blackjack John Tobias gets his car out there. And we get ready to roll. Only 9 cars make the call here for tonight's Flatline Racing Bodies 410 feature. And, well, I have no idea what I did that it does not like me going to the bottom, but I'm going to have to figure that one out. Starting on the inside of row number 5 in the 513, that's the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row number 4 on the outside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. And to his inside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Row number 3 on the top shelf, the 41 of the Librarian, Pat Boyce. And to his inside, Old Smoky in the 161, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row number 2 on the outside, Blackjack John Tobias in the 21. And to his inside, the 75 of the Mayor, Steve Bixler. Row number 1 for your 410 Flatline Racing Body Sprint Car feature at the Huset Speedway. Starting on the outside, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. And you're watching the screen slow down because Blake Chapman going to do it once again. He's supposed to start on the pole, but he's going to move back to the tail. He's going to start at the rear, going to do the EOL, try to work his way on up to the field. And that means the 75 of the Mayor, Steve Bixler, inherits the lead here at the Huset Speedway. Have to see if the Mayor can take advantage of that inside front row starting spot, or if Blake Chapman's just too tough to tame here in a sandcastle at the Huset Speedway. We roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. Oh, wait, no, we're just rolling through 1 and 2 now. Shaggy's blind. My apologies. This is turns 1 and 2. Now we roll down the backstretch. We'll see that Steve King Foundation pace truck pull off to the side. And Steve Bixler set to bring the field to the green flag. 25 laps to play in the clay at Huset Speedway. Your 410 sprint car feature is underway. Oh, the General, little contact early. Andy Patton goes around. No caution for the General. Not able to turn that thing. Steering wheel broken. Tough break for the 87. But, oh, the Desert Demon pulls a wheelie. He comes up, gets into Dino, up and over. And just like that, we are under caution at the Huset Speedway. And man, oh man, Dino, nothing he could have done different. Let's go up top. You see Terry just has to get on the binders and then jumps in the throttle. Little heavy. Trying to catch up to the Mayor, rolls up the racetrack. Dino nowhere to go, hard into that outside wall, gets on the side, and unlucky for him, just doesn't roll back over. Tough break for Dino. Small chance, though, we extend this for one more time around. They know I really don't care. I'd prefer the drivers stay on the lead lap anyways, to be honest with you. So, in the spirit of competition, always open to waiting around here a little bit longer. That's really no problem for me. These guys helped me learn my racecraft, and nobody can do that sitting on pit road, that's for sure. So hopefully these guys can get back out on the racetrack. Doesn't look like they're having any luck right now, though. As Dino and John, you can see Dino, they're still sitting on pit road on the right side of your screen. So Dino may be done for the night. Tough break for the 79 is... Well, we do extend it one more time. Good deal. Good on them. Good on them. I'm glad they did. Pretty sure we did that in the midgets race to get people back out there and make sure they were staying out. No reason not to do it again. Good deal, and hats off to him. We'll have to see now. So there goes one. There goes Dino. He's out there. Now John, he's still stuck on pit road. Looks like we're probably going to go back this time. As we do, he drops the hammer. We're back underway. A little confusing there, a little tricky without him being close to the pace truck. But Andy Patton somehow with it's telling us a 2-lap lead. There we go. Now it's all straightened out. Everything's right in the world. Andy is a lap down somehow in that 87. Hopefully they can get him back on the lead lap. And now the mayor, Steve Bixler, looks to his inside. He sees a local kid making a big-time move after taking the OL. 4 short laps for the salesman, and he's looking to drive off into the sunset here. As see Dino there coming to the outside of Pat Boyce. Let's take a look at this battle. Dino trying to rip up through, race his way back up onto the podium. Had a quick race car, but just unfortunate incident between him and Terry Landis. Now he's looking to drive his way back up, and here comes that purple Jeter machine of Terry Landis. If he looks up in that rearview mirror, he's going to see that 79 getting large pretty quick. Dino looking to make this comeback. He knows he doesn't have a lot of laps left. Whoa, no! Dino, hold on. Caution flag flies. It looks like he survived there with no damage, but can't say the same about Bob DeGood. Let's go back. Let's take a look here, see if we can figure out what happened. So Bob and Andy racing side by side. It looks like Bob's getting a little loose here as Andy's coming up. Yeah, you see the 7, the left rear comes back down to regather itself as Andy's floating up, maybe not aware that Bob, is a little loose. And Bob did good with a ride. Dino able to just avoid totally demolishing that car. But Andy Patton, I think that thing was a little damaged too after the contact. He gets up in the outside wall. And 2 race cars destroyed. Tough night here in the 410s for the General Andy Patton. Blake Chapman right back out front where he should have started. Took that EOL. Man, he made it quick. He could almost do it again if he wanted to. No, why would you? That would be foolish. But if he wanted to prove a point, almost could too. Again, it was down to 6 cars. See Blake Chapman ready to bring us back to the green flag for what could be the final restart. We're running out of bodies here at the Huset Speedway. Green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're back underway. Excuse me there for the hiccups. Shaggy's struggling with hiccups here today. Jeff Barker there on the inside. Terry Landis trying to keep that thing smooth and straight. Boy, that thing was really smooth. I wonder if he's got the wing way back. That thing's set up nice. Maybe doesn't have the speed that he'd want, but man, oh man, it is smooth. Whereas you see Dino, he's gaining him a little bit there at the end of the straightaway, but he is fighting a loose race car in the center. It's just different strokes for different folks here as the battle heats up for P2. The Brewerton Beast takes a peek on the inside of the mare. Steve Bixler trying to fight back on that outside. Can the mayor bring home a podium tonight? Oh, he gets in the outside wall. Little commentator's jinx, and now Terry Landis takes that cheater's machine. He takes a peek. Dean Reynolds doing it again, looking to the outside of that 161. Oh, making it 3 wide. Dino with a big-time pass. Put the work boots on, and Terry Landis, he pays for that one, floats a little bit high up, gets into the side of the mayor, Steve Bixler, and all of a sudden Dino says, "Come here, Jeff Barker. I'm ready to roll." And at 79, You don't want to owe Blake 4 bags of popcorn, I don't think. And boy, oh boy, that may be just what's happening here. As you see Blake Chapman big time lead, and without help of a caution, how are Jeff Barker and Dino going to get to him? Dino looking to the outside here, trying to make a run for P2. This is all after him getting a mid-race EOL there with having to pit, extend the caution, get back out there with 7 laps left to play. Dino moves on up to P2. Blake Chapman, we're going to sit here at the starter stand. Here comes your leader. Here comes Dino, 2.5 seconds back, and Dino gonna need some help, gonna need a caution, and will it possibly come from these two, the 161 and Pat Boyce battling hard. Pat trying to get to the inside of the 161, but just can't find any grip, rolling off a 3 and 4, and you see Bixler, P4, Jeff Barker 3rd, Dino 2nd, Blake out front. I told you this had all the makings of a long green flag run. You got one car kind of in his own area code there, Blake. He was going to dance away, and then you got Dino. He's in his own class. Barker, he's in his own class right now. Same with Bixler, and then Landis and Boyce, your closest battle on the racetrack. This is for your final top 5 position. Can Pat work his way onto the inside as Blake Chapman ripping the wall through 3 and 4? He sees the white flag. One more trip around for the salesman. Low and slow, taking it easy through 1 and 2, rips the top through 3 and 4. Burn the house down, Blake Chapman. He brings home his 2nd feature of the night here at the Huset Speedway. Dino P2 and the Brewerton Beast holds on to P3. Wouldn't get it taken away from him this time. Steve Bixler and Terry Landis, your top 5. But Jeff Barker, man, hard-fought P3 after heartbreak there in the 360s, was running 3rd until the final lap. Ended up slipping down to 5th, but this time wouldn't be denied. And take a look there at your drivers on the podium. Congratulations. Another great race here at the Huset Speedway. See if we can get a word with this man, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Great run for the 513, and I think he'd tell you he's going to be pretty happy with this one, but let's ask him for himself. Hey, Jeff, Shaggy up in the booth, man. How you feeling?
I'm good. How you doing, Shaggy?
Pretty good, man. You know, rewinding time, not to shine the spotlight off this, but you know, it looks like there in the 360 race, I'm going to be talking to you, and it just slipped away on that final lap. This time, man, you weren't going to let it happen twice, were you?
I lifted a little bit, fall back to 4th.
Oh, you dog.
Because I hate getting 3rd. It's a personal thing. But I lifted a little bit. I didn't realize I was going all the way back to 5th.
Well, Jeff, you know, this time, not a lot of cars, but, you know, you're able to run P3 tonight after a hectic beginning. What was it like surviving those first couple laps there?
Oh, yeah, the first 2.5 laps, I think everybody hit everybody. It was pretty ugly. But, yeah, I just kind of laid low and rolled around the back and dodged stuff and ended up in, 2nd, I think, after that?
Yeah, you were up there to P2 and, you know, kind of imitating Blake's line there running the bottom. And, you know, you were using it to basic perfection there in the 360s. I mean, Blake even talked about how he was following you doing it. You know, have you been working on that bottom here? It seems like, you know, I mean, you're not Blake yet, but Jeff, man, you're getting pretty close. You were rolling.
No, I'm trying to be Blake. I'm telling you, I'm watching everything he does. He doesn't do much without me seeing it. And I'm figuring if he can turn those laps, so can I somehow. So I just keep practicing and practicing.
Yeah, man, that's the attitude. You know the deal. We're out here on fixed setup. So if you got one guy working it, there is some masterful way to do it. And Jeff, you're picking it up, man. You're rolling that bottom, using it to get through guys, you know, overdriving the center of the corner. And you look good tonight, and it paid off with a podium. Congratulations, man. Who you want to thank?
I always thank Coast to Coast, Shaggy TV. Was there Flightline Racing Bodies tonight?
Yes, sir.
sponsoring all this fun stuff. And everybody who comes out and races and everybody who watches. Thanks, everybody. It's a good time.
Yeah, a little bit of a smaller field, but I diagnosed why, Jeff. It's Dirt Nationals at Volusia. That's why. I even have it on my
everybody's
phone.
watching Glenn Stiers go for another gator.
Yep, exactly right. But hey, great run, man. And you got to run what you brung. You did exactly that. Big P3. Congratulations.
All right. Thanks, sir.
And now we're going to bring up the man who, man, Dino, coulda, woulda, shoulda, man. You know, you get involved in that unfortunate contact. I mean, you can see Terry definitely doesn't mean to do it. You know, just jumps on the throttle, pulls that wheelie, comes up and collects you. But what are you thinking, man? I mean, they extend the caution so you can get back out. Are you thinking you can climb this thing back up to P2? Because you had a rocket ship, dude.
I was going to try as hard as I can to get the P2 and then hopefully maybe a yellow where, maybe I could sneak up. And, it was, first of all, thanks to Jeff Barker for extending the yellow. And he says, no, we did it in the first race. When you got a short field of cars, why not?
That's what I said on the broadcast, too. Why not? I was saying it live. I was hoping you guys would do it. I was saying it before you did it, and I'm really glad they did it. Yeah, why not, man?
And I am too. And and Terry, no fault of Terry. I saw the replay and I saw his front end go up in the air, and you can't steer when your front end's in the air. I know that. And, it's just unfortunate. But, I said, hey, I'm going to let her rip. And, I'm going to go back to the top. I'm going to get used to this, new computer and my wheel being stiff and get aggressive. And I closed my eyes on that move I did around Stephen because I think there wasn't a sheet of paper between him, me, and the wall. And we got through, and then when we got to second, I was actually turning the same times as Blake up top. We were both doing 11.5s, and I said, well, maybe we can get a late yellow and see what I can do. And, I was going to go for jolly heck, but we didn't get the yellow, so that's okay. I'll take another second to Blake. But it was funny during the pace lap. I said, guys, I don't know if you noticed, this whole field is retreads except for Blake. I just noticed that when I looked. So, but, hey, he's giving you a challenge. One of these days, hopefully I can get him. And then, I'm going to try. I'm going to try like heck to see if I can get him that one time. And then, then I'll gloat.
Yeah. And not to highlight anything. This isn't anything bad you did, because I'm telling you, Dean, I would have done the same thing. But it just kind of puts into perspective, when you got to race, how you got to race. And, you and I, man, we're famous now for saying live to race another day. But you talked about that move you made on the outside. I mean, how much is that a product of, you got wrecked? I mean, obviously we know Terry didn't do it on purpose, but you get wrecked early on and, man, you're not points racing. I mean, at that point, you're just trying to hang it out and have some fun, right?
Yeah, and when the four cars, I was running fourth on that restart, actually fifth, and I saw Blake moving out, and I had those three guys in front of me. I was like, I wasn't going to push it because, Pat was in front of me. He was running the top. Terry was running the top. So I waited for a couple of mistakes, and then I got the mistakes with Pat and Terry when he had to go down low, and I said, okay, I can get around the outside of him in the corner. And then I just had to time Steven just right. But you're right. I mean, yes, to live another day, but my goal is to go get that kid.
Yeah.
that darn Galen's kid. Well, we'll call him that. But, Blake is, we all know Blake is one of the best. I mean, he's, there's like top 5 in coast to coast here. And Blake's he's in the Mount Rushmore of coast to coast. I think he's pro material. I think if he ever tried to go to get a pro license, he can go do it. That's how good he is. And 99 times out of 100, he's going to beat you. But man, I'm going to try like heck to get that one time. Just that one time. So, and then it's a challenge. It's a fun challenge. I mean, it's like when my teammates with FTM. We got so many good teammates, and I joke around by saying I'm the slowest in FTM, but I think I am. But you know what? That gives me a challenge to go past these guys and beat them. And that's what you should do with the game. If you give yourself a challenge and focus, you can get better.
No, and really, you touched on Blake, and it really, I look at it the same with you and your teammates. When you beat you guys, man, it's that much sweeter. When you got that competition out there, it really is. Not to put down, anybody else, but man, some of those FTM guys, Blake, Patrick Spangler, for instance, you beat guys like that. It means a lot more. And Dean, you're able to drive your way back up. Great run after that mistake. That wasn't your fault. Congratulations, man. Who you want to thank?
Well, I want to thank Megan. Consider she's 3 feet away from me because this is the night over before I go down to Florida. I better thank her. I did fess up. I did tell her I missed it in the first one, and you saved my butt. So, and again, thank you, Shaggy, for doing the telecast, and thank my guys from FTM. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel again. With Sherry and all that, but it's a lot of fun. But Flatline Racing Bodies again for sponsoring, and going to enjoy myself. We're going to come back and run tomorrow. And then we're going to go down to Florida, the Evolution. I hope everyone coast to coast can tune into Dirt Vision and watch the Outlaws through Saturday. And then next week we got some USAC wingless sprint cars, and then we got the Super Dirt Car Series after that.
Yeah, C-Main on right now, Dino. So when you get out of here with me, turn that thing on and go hang out with Megan a bit. Have a good evening, brother.
Yeah, and that's why I said to Blake, I go, we timed this perfect. C-Main's coming on the track, so that's what I'm going to do. So, again, congratulations to break, and great run by Jeff Barker to get third.
Yeah, it really was. And, well, you'll have to go back and listen to that interview. But apparently he chickened out a third in the last one, lifted out. Sucker.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I looked at the relative, and he was third. Next thing I know, there was Andy. Yep. So I'm like, I didn't know what happened. So I'll, after the Outlaws get done tonight, we'll have the broadcast on, and we'll watch it and enjoy it. So,
well, hey, great job, Dino. Love talking to you, man, and hopefully I'm talking to you more tomorrow night.
All right, Shaggy, thanks a lot. You have a good night, my friend.
Take it easy, Dino. Sorry, a little bit of tickle in the throat. That's your P2 finisher, Dean Reynolds. And now we bring up the man of the hour, back to back. Blake, you take an EOL, but what does that even mean when you get up there in 4 laps? I mean, you are absolutely in your own world tonight. Talk to us about this race car, brother.
Yeah, we took that EOL, and I just wanted to lay back pretty far the first lap or two. I saw only 4 guys finished on the lead lap in the heat race, so I figured there might be some more carnage. At the beginning of the feature, and there was, and I found myself on that first restart in third. So it was just, we didn't have to do anything. I didn't think I got over half throttle that whole stretch there. But after that restart, we just, got to the bottom, got around the mayor there, and went up top and let her eat.
Now on a racetrack like this, okay. Now obviously don't give your number, But are we playing with the power at all, or do we have it tuned up the whole way?
Yeah, I've taken the power out, at least halfway every week so far, and this week I took it about exactly halfway out because there wasn't a large car count and it wasn't going to get too slick. There was still plenty of grip throughout the corners, but the exits and entries got a little slick, so we had to take some power out of that thing. And I think we were at about the right amount. It's tough to gauge every week, but we're figuring it out as the weeks go.
Now, okay, just to enlighten me a little bit, Blake, and I'm trying to do this, hopefully the other drivers hear this can pick your brain a little bit through me. Now, when you turn it down that much, how similar? Obviously, a little more weight, but how similar does the car feel to you driving a 360 out there when you do that?
Yeah, I'd say it feels more like a 360 the more power you take out of it. I don't drive it any differently. I kind of run all the sprint cars the same way, but if it's gonna get slick and you're struggling with handling the car, definitely go take as much out as you really can. I would say anything that makes you comfortable with the car. With these short tracks when they get really slick, you usually want to take a lot out. So, it can really play into your favor if you might have been struggling a little bit. You take a lot out, and if you're able to handle the car, you should be right in the race.
Well, hey, Blake, hell of a run, man. That says a lot about you too. That you're willing to lay your cards out, try to help other people, and get them on that same field that Blake's on right now. Because right now you're way up there, kid. You're dominating. This is your sandbox. It's unbelievable. Huset Speedway. Somebody's got to come dethrone the champion. I don't know who it can be. Maybe we can get Patrick out here, see if he can hang with you a little bit, because I don't know what else to do now. Congratulations. Great run, man. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the family for watching. Got to thank all the guys down at the Kreitz Sim Racing team, especially Terry for running with me tonight, and the Salty Dogs for letting us hop in their Discord. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes. I got to thank Dean for adminning tonight. And, of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. Valentine's Day is coming up, but it's not too late to get your significant other the best gift that there is, and that's some Galen's Gourmet popcorn, you can head over to their website, and don't forget to use code CART, that's CART, at checkout for 15% off. And I got to thank you for putting this broadcast on, Shaggy.
Well, hey, hell of a job, man. Congratulations. EOL'd all night and, still able to have good runs. A little mistake in that midgets kept you from a triple podium, but hell of a run, Blake. Congratulations. And am I going to get to talk to you tomorrow night, or are we taking the night off?
I probably doubt that I'll be there tomorrow night, but hopefully we're talking to you next week.
All right, sounds good, brother. Have a good rest of your week, and turn on Dirt Vision. C-Main's getting ready to roll.
Absolutely. Thanks, Shaggy.
That's Blake Chapman, your feature winner. And with that, we're going to wrap up your Flatline Racing Bodies Hometown Heroes and just sheer domination out of the 20 of Blake Chapman once again. If not for those EOLs, this race isn't near as tight, nor is the 360. And if he starts out front in the midgets, it's a coulda, woulda, shoulda deal, but he probably takes that one home too. No slighted jack. But this really is his racetrack. Blake's controlling it, bringing it home, burning it down. Congratulations to the salesman. And with that, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who tuned in this evening. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. On behalf of all the admins, Roger, Craig, and everybody else who keeps the gears working, especially Patrick Spangler. He was the hero tonight with that code. Thank you, Patrick. Couldn't do it without you guys. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, signing off, saying have a good evening.